Welcome to our group presentation for IST 302 Project Management. We will be discussing SCRUM, the Agile Project Management Method. Team 1 consists of Joseph Stipetich, Senior, Security and Risk Analysis, James McKelvain, Senior, Security and Risk Analysis, and John Pantone, Senior, Information Science and Technology. SCRUM. What does it all mean? Today we will be discussing the many subtopics of SCRUM. These include what is SCRUM, roles in SCRUM, product owners, Scrum Master, Scrum Team, artifacts, sprint planning sessions, daily Scrum, sprint retrospectives, and many more. Scrum is one of many agile approaches to project management. Scrum fits well in projects where the business team has difficulty expressing the scope of the project early in its life cycle. Scrum is best used when the team is experienced in their area within the project. Having a more experienced team means the team members are able to produce several iterations of deliveries without waiting until the close of the project to make one final delivery. Scrum best fits projects where there is a less rigid completion dates, experienced team members, smaller risks, unclear requirements, and a more flexible scheduling is required.
When working in Scrum, there are three main roles, which consist of a product owner, a Scrum Master, and a Scrum Team. Each role in this project duration have different tasks and tools that they can use to help further along the project and make sure everything is running smoothly and effectively. Each plays an important part, and without the other, the process would be incomplete. We will go into more detail about each role, but for some general information, the product owner is responsible for determining values of items and features that will go into the end product. The Scrum Master is an overviewer, making sure that all tasks are being completed within time frames set and that people are working well together throughout the project. The Scrum Team is the people that are actually working to produce deliverables and items for the product. As mentioned, the product owner is the person that sets and determines which features will make it into the final product. They do that in a specific process for Scrum. First off, when looking at the project as a whole, they make a large list of features that they are looking for in the final product. From this list, each separate feature is given a priority ranking, from highest priority to lowest priority. This list is then turned into a smaller list called a product backlog. This backlog is then used to reference and guide the Scrum Team, which we will dive into a little later. Once the set of high priority items are complete, they rerun the entire process of selecting features and items and turning them into another product backlog. Each time the list gets more and more precise until all the wanted features have made it into the final product. The role of Scrum Master is a general overseer of the entire project. He or she is the one that maintains the flow of work and makes sure everything is going well throughout the duration of the project. Some main tasks that they will handle include sprint planning sessions, which are meetings that select a set of work from the product backlogs to deliver on, daily Scrum meetings, which develop teams to share progress and challenge other sprints, sprint reviews, where the team demonstrates what they have completed to the product owner, and sprint retrospects, where the team meets and looks for ways to improve on deliverables that they've already done. All of these tasks are essential to keep the team focused and staying on top of their procedures. The tasks that are mentioned will go into further detail further into the presentation. The Scrum Team comes into the picture after the product owner has selected the features for the product and there has been a product backlog that has been created. The Scrum Team now has to execute on these features. They do this in a process called a sprint. They take the product backlog, and the Scrum Master and them decide on the duration that it will take to complete the task. Each sprint can differ in amount of time based on the work that needs to be done, but usually they will last from a couple days to up to 30 days. The purpose of the sprint is to get all features included in the sprint to be ready and completely functional. They keep track of the items in each sprint by using a sprint backlog. This mirrors that of a product backlog, where it takes the highest priority of the list and puts the most effort and time into the respected items. Sprints can repeat as many times as it takes to complete the entire project. They are also a very useful tool to see if the project is falling behind schedule, because if sprints are losing time, that means the entire project will most likely be late. The Scrum Master can then make adjustments to the schedule to correct this late issue.
Artifacts. What are they? The product backlog is a set of all baselines that are prioritized in order of importance and is made available by the product owner to the Scrum Master. The sprint backlog is a subset of product backlog that the team pulls into the sprint to work on. It is essentially a to-do list. The Scrum burn-down chart is a visual measurement tool that shows the completed work per day against the projected rate of completion for the current project release. A tool that is very useful in creating this burn-down chart is Microsoft Project.
Sprint planning sessions are meetings where everyone on the sprint team, and sometimes other stakeholders, discuss and plan the next upcoming sprint for a project. As stated before, sprints are simply intervals of time, such as 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even a month, where the teams will allocate a certain amount of work. This work is taken directly from the product backlog. The user stories can have points associated with them, so that the team can estimate how many stories they will be able to accomplish. The Scrum Master oversees facilitating communication between the team and makes sure that the team is comfortable with taking on the stories they selected. Team members must be open to communicating their concerns and comments about the work they are agreeing to. This planning session is vital as it will determine what the team will work on for the following sprint. Daily Scrum meetings, otherwise known as daily stand-ups, are a crucial part to the Scrum methodology. They are simply short meetings, usually at the start of the day, where team members and product owners can voice their concerns about the stories or project that they are working on. It can also be used for sharing what each team member will be working on for that day and if they require any assistance or outside help. Daily stand-ups help each team member voice their opinion about how things are going before it is too late. Sprint retrospectives enable the Scrum team to reflect on their completed sprint as well as plan for future sprints. These meetings normally contain most of the stakeholders like the sprint planning sessions. The team will go around to each team member and ask them a few questions. What went well in our last sprint? What went wrong? What can we do to improve moving forward? These questions can and should be tweaked to fit each team. The purpose is to improve the team's velocity in completing work. This is a time where all parties should welcome constructive criticism, as it will only make the team's work more efficient.
With Scrum being such an important agile approach, we hope you now have a better understanding about Scrum and why it can be beneficial to many project managers.